I'm just outside the little town of Towyn in Gwynedd in Wales. In late June 1969, this town had a rather famous set of visitors. The Beatles were taking a break from their Abbey Road sessions in June 1969, and John Lennon and Yoko Ono decided to go on a motoring holiday. It was going to be a two-leg holiday, the first leg in Wales and the second leg in Scotland, with a stop in Liverpool to visit relatives on the way. John Lennon's 6-year-old son Julian and Ono's 5-year-old daughter Kyoko were with them. Little bit of an obscure video today. Well, that's what I thought at the time, but the more I looked into it, I realised that their stay in Towyn was a chapter in a much bigger story. As I mentioned earlier, John Lennon was in the process of recording the Abbey Road album with the Beatles. This was their last album that they recorded together, although the Let It Be album was the last album to be released. John and Yoko had just purchased the Titanhurst Park house in Ascot. This is the house where he would later record the Imagine album. The motoring holiday would turn out to be one of the last times that John Lennon went to Liverpool. And the Scottish leg of the holiday would lead to a near-fatal incident that would be a factor in Yoko Ono losing custody of her daughter. John Lennon had left his Rolls Royce at home and was driving a customised Mini Cooper. And Julian Lennon, his son, was visiting John at the time. And John actually took him on the holiday without informing Julian's mother, Cynthia. There's only one known photograph of the couple in Towyn. I'll show you that photograph later. And it was taken in the garden of the hotel that they were staying at. And that's where I'm going now, just to see that building. Now, whilst they were in Wales, John kind of realised that the Mini Cooper was a little bit small for the four of them. What John Lennon did was he arranged for his chauffeur to drive an Austin Maxi to Liverpool for the second leg of their holiday. Getting closer to the town of Towyn now. Just spotted two rather unusual buildings in the middle of the field here. They look like something from World War II. And I asked the gentleman who happened to be passing about them. And apparently there was a big army camp here in these fields during the war. Those two buildings are the only thing surviving from the camp. And this is the hotel that they stayed at, the Corbet Arms Hotel. It's over 250 years old. Seen better days. Sadly, this van is parked by the doorway here. This is the door that John and Yoko would have used to go in and out of the hotel. I understand that it's in a very bad state inside. And this fence has only been put up recently, so the building now is quite dangerous. It's good to document these places just in case, you never know, they might not always be here. This place should be okay as it's a Grade 2 listed property, but you never know. If it becomes a danger, you could see it being demolished. And this is the only known photo of the family in Towyn. Notice these hills in the background. These are the same hills that I filmed earlier in the video. Now the garden of the hotel is right behind it, so we can't get to it at all. Apparently it's very overgrown anyway. But I have got some drone footage here to show you of the area where the photograph was taken. You can see the hotel and the garden in the centre of the shot here. I'll just zoom in. Looking at the photograph, it appears that it was taken roughly where this tree is now growing. I don't know how long they were staying in Towyn. It must have been at least 2 or 3 nights, I believe. Otherwise it would have been too much of a detour if they were going to Liverpool before going to Scotland. They left Towyn for Liverpool. I mentioned earlier that it was one of the last times that John Lennon had been to Liverpool, but I now believe it actually was the last time that he was in Liverpool. From Liverpool they went in the Austin Maxi to the village of Dyrnas in Scotland. This was a place that John had visited previously as a child. There are a couple of photographs of the family in Scotland. On the 1st of July, the family were involved in a car accident in Scotland. John Lennon lost control of the Austin Maxi and drove it into a ditch. All 4 of them were taken to Lawson Memorial Hospital. John Lennon had 17 stitches for a facial wound. Yoko had 14 stitches and Kyoko had 4. Julian Lennon suffered from shock, but was otherwise uninjured. Apart from Julian, they remained in hospital for a number of days. The wreckage of the Austin Maxi was shipped back to Lennon's home at Tightonhurst Park. He had the car crushed into a cube and placed on a plinth in the garden to remind the couple of their mortality. The incident would be a major factor in Yoko Ono later losing custody of her daughter. Ono's husband changed Kyoko's name to Ruth Holman and subsequently raised the girl in an organisation known as the Church of the Living World. Ono and Lennon searched for Kyoko for years, but to no avail. Yoko Ono would finally see Kyoko again in 1998. Looks like the pigeons are flying freely in and out through broken windows. Blimey, the bell on that church's been ringing for a long time. Just over here you got a cinema. Very old cinema, as you can see. Makes you wonder if John and Yoko took the kids here when they were staying here. I guess we'll never know.
It's a hard thing to know that your soul will stay hollow. Even if I know that nothing lasts forever, it's not easy to let go. Can you love me again? Can things ever be the same? All I do is see things slipping through my fingers when you turn.
Okay guys, from sunny Towyn, we'll see you in the next video.
There we go. All the things I wanna say, and maybe you'll listen.